The thoughts, views, and opinions shared on the Flow Show No Filter are for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a professional. I am just good. Happy Monday. Sheesh. We made it to another Monday. Seems like it's been like 2 years since the last time I did a podcast. You know, those 2 days off are a good thing, but it definitely, I can't wait to get back on here and talk my shit to y'all. But yeah, we got a crazy show today. Oh my God, last Thursday or Friday ended so crazy, and we were so shocked and surprised by the news of NBC News putting out that story where the victim, alleged victim in the Jay-Z Diddy case, the allegedly 13-year-old who said she was raped by both of them. She admitted to a lot of inconsistencies. Her father threw her under the bus. It went totally left, and had Tony Buzbee looking crazy and had Jay-Z looking good. We're gonna talk about that. Also, you know how people are always saying, like, this is a matrix, this is a movie, this is not real, life is a script, life is whatever. You know, all those conspiracy theorists saying all that. Well, they ain't looking so crazy because this is so much crazy shit going on right now. I could talk for 5 hours today, but I'm going to focus on the odds that Diddy's lawyer is married to Luigi Maggiani's lawyer, you know, the CEO shooter. Though they got this, their lawyers are married. And what's the odds of that? And we're going to get into that connection, because who thought there would be a Diddy and a Luigi connection? And then at the end of the show, like I like to do, I'm going to point out some little stories that you need to pay attention to real quick, and then we're going to be out of here. But let's get started. And let me tell you something. One thing I like to get off my chest, and I like when situations like this arise, because then I get to vent and clear out my followers and supporters on who the real ones, who the ones who here for the wrong reasons. I don't pander. I don't pander to anyone. I tell the truth, my opinion, and I give facts on both sides. I try to give as many facts as I can to the exact story or case, so that not only can I give my opinion, but then you can form your own opinion. A lot of times we might have the same opinion. A lot of times it might be different. But I'm gonna give it straight every time. And then there's some followers, some supporters who are sprinkled around. It's not many of them, because most people are very genuine. I appreciate my following and my supporters. We are a large and mighty group. But some can't handle the truth. And those are the ones that I'm not your guy. If you are someone who only wants to hear someone bashing Jay-Z and Diddy, that's it, with all emotion, has nothing to do with the case, no X's and O's as far as what's going on with the case, no honest assessment of both lawyers. If you can't handle that, I'm not your guy, because I'm gonna tell it like it is. Yeah, I'm gonna give your opinion. I think Diddy guilty. That's just my honest opinion. But at the same time, this has to be handled in court, and it has to be won in court. Same thing with the Jay-Z case. So when Tony Buzbee made an obvious misstep by having this young lady sit down with NBC News, and without him around her, or even he's still vetting her story, and it turned into a fiasco. It made Tony Buzbee's case and made it put into question everything he's brought. Now, that's just being honest. Now, that's not to say today Tony Buzbee could come back strong with something else. But as of what happened Friday or Thursday, anybody with common sense knows he pretty much fucked up. He made a misstep. And this case has to be won in court. So I'm going to hold both lawyers accountable. I don't give a shit that Tony Buzbee is on quote unquote the side of the victims. If I'm not judging the victims at all, my critique is going to be on Tony Buzbee. If he's doing a good job, I'm gonna say he's doing a good job. Just like in my previous episodes or whatever, when I say, hey, Tony Buzbee is no joke, I call it like it is. But if Tony Buzbee makes a huge misstep and is in danger of messing up a case or just did something wrong or hurt his case in the court of public opinion or in regular court, I am going to say that. Some people can't handle that. And so I've always make sure that I give honest opinion and honest facts about what's going on, because people who can't handle that, I want them get away from me, get away from my channel. I'm not the one for you. I'm for the people who want to hear the honest facts, what's going on, my honest opinion, and inform our own opinions and continue to fight for justice. Justice is not about being emotional. Fighting for justice is not about just being emotional and just because we beg and cry for justice doesn't mean we're going to get justice. Justice has to be won in a court of law. So I don't give a fuck if it's Tony Buzbee or who it is, Johnny Cochran in his day. If they do something wrong where they're putting the case possibly in jeopardy or make a misstep, I'm going to call them out. Period. That's me. I'm not pandering for anybody. And I never pretend to, because on this journey, I've went from 100 followers across all platforms 2 years ago to 600,000 followers in a matter of 2 years, less than 2 years. And on that journey, I've learned a lot, and I've been through a lot with my supporters, with my followers, and I've learned that all followers, all supporters, they aren't all created equally. Meaning you have 90% of the followers are genuine and I love them and they actually do care about you and actually your well-being, and they actually do care about you. And they don't just look at you for just entertainment or somebody who's just going to pander to their needs or what they want to hear. Most followers aren't like that, but then you do have followers who that's how they are. And those aren't the ones, when the rubber meets the road, you can't count on those followers. So you don't really need those followers. And it's nothing against those type of followers. That's what you want. Go follow that person who panders and who's only going to tell you what you want to hear. See, I grew up in a home with a family and parents that whether it was something you want to hear or didn't want to hear, they going to tell you the fucking truth. Some people didn't grow up like that. Some people grew up with parents or family sugarcoating everything and making sure they only tell them what they want to hear. So when they hear something opposite, they automatically get triggered. Those aren't the ones I'm looking for, y'all. We here to talk about what's going on. Because we have to hold Tony Buzbee accountable. We have to hold the prosecution in the Diddy case accountable. We can't just sit back and just because they're on quote unquote the side that you want to be, that we want to get justice for the victims. We can't just sit up here and not say shit when they fucking up. No. If they do something wrong or if they're jeopardizing the case, we got to call them out. So Tony Buzbee, he on the clock right now. You got to get it right. Because if you really care about these victims, you would call out Tony Buzbee or any attorney that does something wrong, because his carelessness by putting out letting the alleged victim talk to NBC News or whatever, however that went, it messed things up. And by him being careless or missing that, he put the victim in a bad spot. Now, not only is the victim basically caught telling inconsistencies, which could be a mistake. Shoot, it's hard to remember what happened 20 years ago. I can't remember every detail from 20-something years ago, but it doesn't matter to the public if, it was a mistake or it just looks like, oh, she lying. So now you not only do you have a victim dealing with that anxiety of dealing with the whole world, and the whole world knows you have inconsistencies or whatever. But not only that, now she's getting bashed in the media. I'm sure people are probably saying something to her or whatever. Like, she's all because Tony Buzbee, who is the lawyer, who is the authority on this shit, put her in a bad spot. So yes, I'm calling out Tony Buzbee for that. And anybody that don't like that, like I say, I'm not your guy, because I'm not going to sit up here and just everything rosy, everything this and that, and I'm only bashing Diddy and Jay-Z, and I'm not going to comment on what's really going on, because I don't care who you are. If you're messing up justice, if you're possibly getting in the way of justice, I am calling you out. So that was just a PSA I wanted to get out there, because I don't want people to, if you can't handle the truth, this isn't for you. Everybody else, let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy the truth. Let's enjoy somebody who actually is not scared to tell you exactly what the hell going on. And let's continue to deep dive into these cases. Now, I'm not going to rant no more on that, but I just wanted to get that off my chest. Love and appreciate all of y'all. Let's get into this. So first, we're gonna dive into that, because I hadn't had a chance to even talk about this one. So you already know this your boy Flo, and today we're gonna unpack this Tony Buzbee Jay-Z mess. I told you this was gonna be a heavyweight fight, and that's exactly what we got. So let's set the stage. So this lawsuit was filed against Diddy. Originally, it was just Diddy by an anonymous Jane Doe. This Jane Doe claimed that he raped her when she was just 13 years old. And if that wasn't shocking enough, the lawsuit was also amended in December to include none other than Jay-Z. The alleged incident occurred to this Jane Doe in 2000 on the night of the MTV Awards. But what she revealed in her first ever interview with NBC News has cast serious doubt on her story and sent shockwaves through the legal and entertainment worlds. Now, another thing I want to point out, y'all, because I'm breaking all of it down. We're going to break it all down, because it all makes sense at the end of the day, as far as whose side everybody on and all the agendas at play. Now, who did this? Before we continue, who did this interview? NBC News. NBC has a contract with who? The NFL. The NFL has a contract with who? Jay-Z. NBC also, in their contract of the NFL, they don't have this Super Bowl, but they have the 2026 Super Bowl, which they already are working on. So when you put all that together, NBC News, who works for NBC, who has a NFL contract and the Super Bowl, who is all tied into Jay-Z, when you put that together, obviously NBC has an agenda. NBC News. And it's money. They have money to win or lose in this situation. So going into this, you should already know that basically NBC is on Jay-Z's side, NBC News, because of the information I just told you. Now, I just wanted to give you that context, because this is something nobody else is talking about. Like, nobody else I haven't seen not one person put the fact that NBC News is NBC, which has a contract with the NFL, which explains why they put this witch hunt on. So now I gave you that context. Let's start with the Jane Doe and what they claimed, and let's break down how it all went. She said she was driven from her home in Rochester, New York, to New York City by a now deceased friend. Outside the VMA's venue, she alleges that she spoke with Diddy's limo driver, who invited her to the after party. Now, at the party, she says she was introduced to various celebrities, including the Madden brothers from the band Good Charlotte. And then later, she claimed she was given a drink that made her feel woozy and that she was subsequently raped by both Diddy and Jay-Z. Now, after the alleged incident, Jane Doe says her father picked her up, but that they rode home in total silence. She said he didn't even ask her what happened. Now, I'll give you some context here, and this is just from the rumor mill. I haven't been able to even look into this, but I saw a lot of people saying it, and a few people that I actually follow their blogs and for a long time, so they're usually accurate. I've heard that the father and the father and this girl don't really speak or have an estranged relationship. So we'll get into that later on as I find out, but I just want to let y'all know that's what I'm hearing. So that's some more context. Okay, but now this is where her story starts to fall apart. And this is where I said Tony Buzbee, I don't know how he even allowed this, but he got to make up for it. NBC News conducted an investigation, and their findings raised significant questions. First, the Madden brothers confirmed that they weren't even at the VMAs that year. They were on tour in the Midwest at the time. Then, there's the account of Jane Doe's father. When asked about the silent car ride home, he said he had no memory of it. I quote, he says, "I feel like I would remember that, and I don't." That's what he told NBC News. Now, faced with these contradictions, Jane Doe admitted, "I have made," and I quote, "I have made some mistakes," she said. Her memory isn't perfect, but insists she was indeed raped. So now, even let's stop right here. So you see what I mean about Tony Buzbee's misstep. Not only is it a misstep on him, but now he has her in a bad position. She has to sit up in front of the whole world with someone poking holes in her story for stuff that she could have easily not remembered. It's two things. It's only two things possible. She could be lying, or she could just have some facts that she don't remember, and now you don't put her in front of the whole world. Now she has to admit that she has made mistakes and has some inconsistencies, but she still has to tell you that she was raped. She's trying to prove she was raped. Like, I don't like nothing about none of this shit. I just can't get over why Tony Buzbee, or how did this happen, because I swear I would almost have to think she did this on her own, but I know she didn't. So let's continue. But this is just, I don't like this shit. Okay. So now we continue. Now, Jay-Z didn't waste any time responding after this shit hit the fan. In a statement released December 13th, he called the allegations completely false, saying this incident didn't happen, and yet it was filed in the court, and doubled down in the press, True justice is coming. And that's a direct quote from Jay-Z. Now, Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, took it a step further. What did he do? He filed a motion to dismiss the case entirely. Spiro pointed to what he called stunning revelations in Jane Doe's NBC interview, arguing that the claims have no factual basis. And then there's Diddy's camp. His legal team labeled the accusations as part of a larger scheme, calling it a shameful money grab. See, this is a whole fucking can of worms Tony Buzbee opened by even letting this interview go on without him being there, without him making sure that the victim was prepped. And also he admitted that he didn't vet. He depended on someone else who vetted the story, who passed it to him, another firm. It just doesn't make any sense, y'all. And he's even admitted that they're still vetting her story. So how did she end up getting put into this mess? Now you got Diddy's camp talking shit. Buzbee did it now. Like I said, I'm going to get to this in a little bit because Buzbee has some tricks up his sleeve, apparently or allegedly. And I'll tell you about that. So let's pause here. Now it's not just about accusations or even about celebrities defending their reputation. This is about the role of memory, trauma, and truth in our justice system. Because we definitely know that trauma can cause you to forget things. Trauma can cause you to think, to have some facts wrong. It's a lot at play. But when you put your client in front of the world to see, now the whole world is judging, and it's really because of Buzbee's sloppiness on this. Even he admitted it without admitting it by saying he didn't vet her at all. Another firm did. And now he's saying that his firm is still vetting her. So why are we moving forward with all of this, having her on NBC News and all of this shit if y'all are still vetting? I don't get that, man. I don't like that. I'm sorry. I don't care who doesn't like that. I don't like that. I don't like it. So let's continue. Experts even note that trauma can lead to fragmented or faulty memories. Victims might get details wrong, but still retain a clear sense of what happened to them. Could that be the case here, or are we looking at something entirely different? Is this a deliberate fabrication? See, these are all the questions and what you got floating around when you make missteps. Now, it's worth noting that Jane Doe's lawyer, Tony Buzbee, has been accused of filing false claims before. In fact, both Jay-Z and Diddy's legal teams have described him as an opportunist seeking fame and money. But there's one thing. Even if the lawsuit is dismissed, the damage has already been done. Accusations like these have the power to tarnish reputations permanently if they're proven false. Now, nobody is saying that. I'm getting a sense from legal experts that they still believe that this case is going to move forward. So I haven't had any indications, but there are a few people that feel like this might be dismissed. So we'll wait and see. But for Jay-Z in particular, there's a lot at stake. We all know Jay-Z is not just a rapper. He's a businessman, a cultural icon, and a lot of things. Any hint of wrongdoing could have a massive repercussion on his empire. And for you got Diddy. This comes on the heels of other legal troubles. We have to wait and see how this plays out. And this is going to be one for the ages. Now, let's talk about the public perception of this shit. Now, in the court of public opinion, accusations are often treated as facts. Social media exploded when these allegations first surfaced, with many condemning Jay-Z and Diddy before the evidence was all the way presented. That's what we do. But now, with Jane Doe admitting to some of the mistakes in her story, the tide is beginning to change as far as this particular story. Now, I see a lot of people questioning her motives. I see a lot of people asking the same question I asked: why would Tony even put her in this position in front of NBC News? And people are saying, why would Tony Buzbee pursue a case with so many inconsistencies? See, none of these questions were asked before this interview. And that's my problem. This was just a bad idea on the part of Tony Buzbee and his firm. So then we have the broader question: how do we balance believing survivors and also ensuring due process? It's tough, because I'm always going to believe victims until I have evidence to not believe them. And one thing is clear: this case is far from being over. Even if the lawsuit is dismissed, there are a million more coming. They're all over the place. And it's just a reminder, this is when you're dealing with sexual assault cases, it's just complex, especially when you involve powerful people. It's not easy. You know what I mean? Like, this is a court of law, and we have to be fair on both sides. But when one person has been allegedly raped, then for the most part, we have to give them grace. Because if it's true, that is terrible. And I would never want to call someone a liar who was raped. And just because, I'm just being honest, 20, 30, 20, 24 years ago, 20 years ago, however long it was, you can easily mess up certain facts. I mean, there are some people arguing that all her stuff lines up if this happened, let's say 2003. All of the facts make sense. Even the person that she said the celebrity that she was introduced to, that said they weren't there in 2000, they were there in 2003. And in 2003 would have made her 16, which is still underage, so it's still horrific. But even the friend who drove her, if this was in 2003, even that will make sense. Because then the friend would obviously have been 16 or something like that. And now you say, okay, now it doesn't look like a 13-year-old is hanging with a 16-year-old. It seems like two 16-year-olds are hanging. And this was brought up by a blogger, YouTuber that I like to follow. Her name is Tisa Tales. You might want to check her out on YouTube. She goes into way more details about how this could have happened in 2003. Diddy had access to a home which he eventually owned that had the round driveway, like she said, and the round driveway. That home was in close proximity. I don't know, 20 minutes, I think, or so from Radio Music Hall where the rewards were. It's just a lot of things that point to it could possibly been, she could have had the wrong year, and which threw all of that off. So who knows? But we are at a point in the case, for the first time, Tony Buzbee has his back against the wall for the first time. Up until this point, he has had all the momentum. He has been making all the right moves. He had the public and everybody on his side. But this right here was his first misstep. And we're going to see how he handles it now. But, hey, we got to call it like it is. What I'm hearing while we're on this subject, now Jaguar Wright, now Jay-Z, we're hearing that Jay-Z is supposed to be suing Jaguar Wright. And then y'all, I don't know if y'all saw that Jaguar Wright had to clear up. She said they have a video of her saying that Jay-Z assaulted her some type of way, sexually assaulted her or something. Jay-Z did something to her sexually inappropriate or something that she said in a clip. But then recently she's saying that Jay-Z didn't do nothing to her, and now that turned into a whatever, but she said she didn't mean it. I'm not even getting into that. I'm just giving you what's going on. Long story short, Jaguar Wright is supposed to be being sued by Jay-Z right now for the first time, and it seems like she's a little worried about it. And so she reached out to Tony Buzbee's court firm, and she actually did it while she was on video, so we could see the call and hear it. And they are supposed to be reconvening today. So it's looking like Tony Buzbee and Jaguar Wright might be connecting. And Buzbee might be helping Jaguar Wright. Jaguar Wright might be helping Tony Buzbee. But that we'll probably know more about that today, because on the call that they were on, they agreed she wasn't talking. Jaguar wasn't talking to Tony Buzbee. She was talking to, obviously, I think it was his secretary or whatever, his secretary. But they are supposed to speak today. And, I do this podcast early in the morning Monday. So I'm sure that news or whatever comes out with Jaguar Wright or Tony Buzbee will come out later today. So I would definitely have that on any updates on that on tomorrow's podcast if there is a update. But as of right now, for the first time, Jaguar Wright is being sued is in the process of being sued by Jay-Z. So I'm about to get into the Diddy and Luigi connection. This is crazy. What are the odds? But before that, let me knock out a couple of my shout outs for my faithful and loyal listeners. I love it when you guys reach out, and I don't mind reading your shout outs. I actually love it. So this is from Michelle. Michelle says, I absolutely love your podcast. I was just searching for Diddy content, and then that is how I found you. I am recovering from cancer, and I listen to a lot of podcasts because I'm sick of TV. You absolutely make my day. I look forward to new episodes coming out. You're the man. Well, Michelle, thank you, Michelle. And pause for you as a beautiful message. We are praying, and congratulations on your recovering from cancer. You're beating it. You're going to be fine, and you're about to live a long, a lot more life to live, Michelle. I appreciate you. My other shout out, she doesn't want her name. She just left a great message. And let's get to that. She says, thank you. I am super private and I don't love shout outs, but I took a deep dive on Diddy early and I've been watching you from the start. Please don't stop. Your character, personality, and resilience is what makes you so popular. Keep on being you and we will keep on listening. Just trying to spread good karma and positivity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll keep you anonymous. I appreciate that. Shout out. And I appreciate you for listening. And I appreciate the compliments. And everybody out there, y'all making this podcast like one of the top podcasts. And I appreciate that. If you want a shout out, all you have to do is DM me on any of my socials, Flow Daddy Flow, FLODADDYFLO, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the same. And we will definitely give you a shout out. I appreciate it. All you got to do is tell me what your name, where you from, and what you're doing when you listen to the Flow Show. No filter. Now, Diddy and Luigi, where the hell did this connection come from? And I'm not like, I believe, like I have a little conspiracy gene in my body where I am open-minded to certain conspiracies. But, you know, when people say this isn't real and we're living in a simulation, all those craziness, all of those thoughts, when shit like this happens, it's like, you know what? Them motherfuckers might have a point. You know what I mean? Like, they might have a point because this is like a movie. So Diddy has the trial of a century. Then Luigi comes, blow the back out of a CEO healthcare guy. The whole world is behind Luigi. And then his lawyer ends up being the wife to Diddy's lawyer. So let's break this shit down, y'all. I can't make this up if I wanted to. So we about to get into this, and I'm feeling good, and we kicking Monday in the ass right now. This is how you hit the ground running on a Monday. We coming in here, we getting straight to the facts. We letting everybody know where we stand, and it's a Monday. This Monday ain't gonna Monday us today. So let's get into it. So picture this, y'all. We got two high-profile cases. They're making headlines right now. One is involving the murder of a healthcare CEO. The other is tied to the rap mogul Sean Diddy Combs, who's facing numerous allegations, racketeering, sex crimes, and all kind of shit. Now imagine this. Their lawyers aren't just connected professionally, they're married. For sure, they are married. Ain't that crazy? So listen to this shit. So let's start with the facts. Luigi Mangiani, or whatever, I'm sorry I messed his name up, no disrespect, meant or intended. He is a 26-year-old University of Pennsylvania graduate and is accused of gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The murder, which took place in broad daylight outside a high-profile investor conference, shocked us all. Had us all like, the fuck? What is going on? What happened? And after a 5-day manhunt, Luigi was apprehended at a McDonald's as he chomped down on a hash brown. Now, I'm gonna lie. McDonald's hash browns are still good. That's one of the things that still tastes like back in the day. But all right, I'm getting off topic. Anyway, one of the staff members, of course, recognized them and called authorities. This is the story we're getting. And so now he is in prison awaiting trial. Now, what we got on the other side, we got Sean Diddy Combs, the global icon, facing all kind of sex crimes and other disturbing claims. And his case is no less controversial than Luigi's case. But what ties these two cases together is the legal power couple representing these people. When I say people, I mean Diddy and Luigi. Mark Agnifilo and Karen Friedman Agnifilo. Not only are they married, but their careers have intertwined in ways that are almost too wild to believe. Can y'all imagine a husband and wife? You got these two. Imagine the talks they have at night with all the information they know about these cases, and it's just a zoo. We all know that. These are the two biggest cases right now. Let's start with the wife. And I was already familiar with Karen, and because I was going to do a story about how she is really strong in like with women's rights, and she has, I think it's Midas Touch or something. She has a group that helps women and stands up for women's rights. And I wanted to do a story about how she felt about her husband defending Diddy, who is accused with all these, sex crimes and this and that. But I didn't think it was a story I needed to do, because at the end of the day, that's her husband and he's a lawyer. So it's not really her job to get morally involved in what he's doing. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to run that story. So I was already familiar with Karen even before this. But she's a legal heavyweight. She spent 7 years as second in command at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, overseeing sex crimes. She was a force to be reckoned with, known for her razor-sharp legal mind and experiencing navigating New York's justice system. She is no fucking joke. But her marriage to Mark Agnifilo, who is a prominent defense attorney, often puts her in tricky positions, as you see, like what I just spoke about. I mean, I knew of her before this, and I thought, like, wow, for somebody who really sticks up and takes a stance against sex crimes, I know has to be kind of awkward for her husband to be defending Diddy. I mean, to me, that's just kind of common sense. So let's also take the case of Harvey Weinstein, for example. There was an actress, Paz de la Hurda, came forward with credible rape allegations. It was Karen's office that initially took the lead. But guess who Weinstein hired for his defense? Mark Agnifilo. Yep. If you said that, you're right. But you probably didn't say that. Don't lie. Anyway, Karen had to step aside from the case, creating a whirlwind of controversy. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is like two opposite, like a lawyer, a defender, defense attorney, and a prosecutor, like married. That's almost like what this feels like. And now, after that incident, now she's representing Luigi, a man accused of a cold-blooded murder that captivated the entire nation. But y'all, it don't stop there. Mark Agnifilo isn't just a defense attorney. He's a Diddy attorney. Yep, the same Mark who represented Harvey Weinstein and countless other high-profile, allegedly perverted defendants is now standing by Diddy as the rapper battles explosive sex crimes. But that ain't it, y'all. It gets even stranger. Karen left her high-ranking position at the DA's office in 2021 to join Mark's private firm. And together, they've built a legal empire. One that's now defending two of the most controversial figures in America. Ethical dilemmas, of course. There are plenty. So let's dive even deeper. This shit gets deep, y'all. Karen's history in the justice system has had its share of twists and turns. She once led an investigation into allegations of sexual harassment against the former chairman of Seton Hall's board. Those claims were ultimately found to be baseless, but the controversy followed her everywhere she went. And then there's her expertise in navigating New York's legal system, a skill that has made her a top pick for defending Luigi. As one prosecutor put it, and I quote, "She knows every corridor, every judge, every clerk in the courthouse." That's power. That's pure, unfiltered power. But here is the kicker. While Karen fights to clear Luigi's name, her husband Mark is locked in a legal battle of his own defending Diddy's name. And of course, Diddy's legacy is being destroyed. 2 lawyers, 2 high-profile cases, 1 marriage. This is a tangled web of legal drama that seems almost too real to be true. And let's not forget the optics. What does it say about our legal system when a husband and wife duo have such power and influence, and the case, and there's so much at stake? Critics have raised the question about potential conflicts of interest. After all, Karen's history as a prosecutor means she knows the playbook. Prosecutors use different tricks to win cases, and she knows them all. And then there's Mark. He's the master of tearing that playbook apart. Together, they are a savage attorney couple. But what about justice? Is this good or bad for the victims? Are we comfortable with this level of power in one couple? These are the questions that situations like this bring forward. Now, as we watch these cases unfold, one thing is going to be certain. They both have incredibly high stakes. For Diddy, it's preserving his career and his freedom. For Luigi, it's about proving or disproving whether he's a cold-blooded killer or a man caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then for the Agnophilos, this is about navigating the fine line between justice and power, ethics and ambition. They're already proven that they are willing to do whatever it takes to win their cases. And so we are definitely going to pay close attention to this dynamic, because a lot of people didn't know about Mark, who's Diddy's attorney. I'm going to go say 90% of the people that I see online didn't even know about Karen, and now they do. So that's going to add a whole nother layer to both cases, especially Diddy's. So what else did we have before we get out of here? It's things I want you to pay attention to. Well, first, Jamie Foxx, at 57 years old, was hospitalized again. Now, I don't know if y'all saw his Netflix special, but it's a tearjerker. He tells his story about how he went into basically a coma. He don't remember 21 days of his life. He said he had a bad headache, asked for Advil, and woke up 21 days later. Told that story. It wasn't a dry eye in the venue. But that's days after it dropped. He's celebrating his birthday at, I believe they said it was Mr. Chow's, a restaurant. It wasn't a public party. It was just a, regular night out, having dinner with your family and friends, celebrating your birthday. Anyway, some hecklers sitting at a table next to him ended up talking all kind of shit on Jamie, and then they get to arguing. Next thing we know, someone from that table threw a glass at Jamie Foxx's mouth. Threw a glass at Jamie Foxx and hit him in the mouth. He ended up having to go to the hospital and get stitches. And then later, the only response we have so far is that he said that when you're doing well, the devil tries to knock you down, in so many words. Now, of course, y'all know who people have speculated is behind this. You guessed it, Diddy, a.k.a. the Diddy Monster. People are thinking they are upset because Jamie Foxx told a lot of Diddy jokes and implied that Diddy had something to do with everything, with him, with trying to kill him or whatever. Now, even though on the actual special, there was only a couple Diddy jokes, he didn't go too far in, but all the people that were there when he filmed it, they said he said about 100 Diddy jokes. Said he talked about Diddy for about 45 minutes. And they said that it was filmed in, I believe, 3 days, and he wore the same outfit each day so they could cut and use different parts. And so a lot of people who were actually at the filming said he said way more. So who knows? I can't confirm or deny that Diddy or some Diddy goons or somebody connected to Diddy did this to Jamie. All I can say is we're waiting to hear what really fuck happened. But at the same time, Jamie, you need some security and you need to just go off the grid for a second, man. Because I don't know what the hell is going on, but they want your ass. They want you harmed. So Jamie Foxx, hey, you do what you want to do, but if I were you, I would get safe. Another thing, Tony Buzbee has a huge, this is the rumor mill, but they are saying that Tony Buzbee has a huge surprise up his sleeve for Jay-Z and Diddy and all the Hollywood or whatever. The word on the street is that he is going to drop a bombshell of a lawsuit that is supposed to be worse than this 13-year-old situation at the VMAs or the MTV Awards, whatever it was. It's supposed to be worse than that, and I know it's supposed to have something to do with Diddy and Jay-Z, they're saying, and possibly Beyonce, but I don't know. But he's dropping it on Christmas, which is the same day that Beyonce is performing at the halftime for one of the NFL games. So this is crazy. So let's look out for that, because Tony Buzbee, although I'm criticizing for this move with this NBC News and this all of that, that doesn't take away from the fact that Tony Buzbee is good at what he does. And I have to believe that after that misstep and how bad that went, Tony Buzbee next move is going to be huge. Mark my words. Because he didn't get to where he's at by fucking up. Now, I will call him out when he messes up, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he is the top lawyer. Like, even lawyers tell you he is the top lawyer. Like, he doesn't lose, and he has an impeccable record. He's collected $10 billion so far. $10 billion collected. Go to his Instagram account. You'll see the info. So with that being said, y'all, the fact that Tony Buzbee had a bad weekend or bad into his last week, you best believe he's going to come back strong. Now, I don't know what it is, but he is. So, but like I said, the rumor as so far is that he's coming out Christmas. But I also believe, now this isn't a rumor, this is just me speculating. I believe, and it probably will be this week, but I would say if it's not this week or next week, this week, Tony Buzbee is going to drop something, some type of bombshell, because at this point, he knows public opinion, especially on the Jay-Z case, is turning on him, where for the most part, he's had all the momentum. He's going to want to get that back. So look out for Tony Buzbee to do make something happen this week. Another thing, now I haven't touched on this because I'm actually just waiting for these motherfuckers to leave. The mysterious drones. They said CBS News says, y'all have seen them drones flying around all over the place that they saying, and they saying they don't know who the fuck it is. They talking about they came out the ocean. They talking about the aliens did it. I don't know what the fuck is going on. And I'm so buried in Diddy and Jay-Z mess and all these current event stories, and even the CEO killer, alleged, whoever did, whatever's going on with that. I haven't even had time to really deep dive in these drones. But I do have a quote from some CBS News. The mysterious drones flying over New Jersey are not U.S. military. That's a direct quote. And there's no evidence they're from a foreign entity or adversary. This was from a Pentagon spokesperson, Sabrina Singh. She also responded to a claim by New Jersey Representative Jan Van Drew, who said the drones are coming from an Iranian mothership off the U.S. coast. People are saying anything, y'all. Me, I'm going to be straight. You know me. I just give you to you straight. And on this, I don't know what the fuck to believe. And I honestly haven't even researched it because I'm just hoping that I wake up and these fucking drones will just disappear and we could just move on, because I don't know what to think. I don't know what the hell. I don't even know who to trust. I don't trust our own government telling us the truth. And I don't trust the drones because I don't know who the fuck is behind it. But one thing, my thing is this. I feel like the fucking government knows what it is, because why aren't they shooting them bastards down or doing something? You just going to look at them as they fly over all our houses? So I don't know, y'all. Just pay attention. I'm not diving into that. I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to get out a couple more days and see how that plays out before I even cover it, because that's not my expertise. I'm not no drones coming out the ocean expert. I don't know nothing about that shit. So pay attention to that, guys. And then I had a listener who wanted me to bring awareness to a serious situation just by reading and letting you guys know what's going on. I don't have no problem doing that. This is from Oscar. He said, Flo, could you please speak on the subject below? Just a few words will help with this tragedy that is taking place. He said there are disproportionate convictions of black Medicaid providers in Eastern North Carolina and nationwide, and people are calling for justice. In Eastern North Carolina and nationwide, a troubling trend has emerged within the healthcare system. A disproportionately high percentage of black Medicaid providers are being investigated, convicted, and incarcerated. This phenomenon raises questions about systemic biases, inequities in oversight and enforcement, and the broader implications for healthcare access in marginalized communities. One of the names is Dr. Tasha Holland Cornegie. So everybody, go ahead if you can, look that up and support that mission if you agree that is foul. I just want to honor one of my faithful listeners who wanted me to bring attention to that. I feel like that was a good thing to bring attention to. So yeah, guys, we tomorrow, what we got tomorrow? I definitely feel like I will have plenty of updates on this Diddy and Jay-Z saga and Tony Buzbee. This is, like I told you, this is a fucking heavyweight fight. You be prepared for Tony Buzbee to take some losses. Be prepared for Jay-Z and Diddy to take some losses, and be prepared for both of them, their attorneys, to have wins here and there. This is going to be a roller coaster ride. But like I said before, this is a legal matter which has to be fought in the courts, has to be won in the courts. We can't get justice. It's not going to just be given to us, guys. The lawyer has to do their part and win this motherfucker in the court. So we are going to watch intently. And if Tony Buzbee does something well, I'm going to tell y'all, he did that. But if he fucks up, I'm going to tell you that. Same thing on Diddy and Jay-Z's side. They do some foul shit, I'm on their ass. But if their attorney has a victory legally, whether it's small or big, I'm going to tell y'all that too. This is the Flow Show, no filter. That's why I put the no filter part in there, because I'm not going to filter. That's what the funny thing is, that's what the media does, the old school media. They filter shit and they put out narratives and they create echo chambers and they pander, and that's what they do. And they pander to the elites, and everybody hates that. But then you have some people that don't understand when you get mad at a creator for being honest and giving you the truth. Basically, what you're saying is you want old school media. You want it filtered. You want it filtered, and you want narratives spewed out. I'm not doing that. So the Flow Show, no filter, every day, every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Look for a new episode, and look for us to do some more deep dives. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me today on this Monday. We got through it. We got a hell of a week ahead of us. Hope everybody's enjoying the holidays. And as always, I'm out.